Hey everybody, Alan Tyler here. Today we're going to look at a trip that I'm taking with my best friend Andy, leaving in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow. We are going to Italy for 3.5 weeks. We're leaving a week into May and basically staying there for the rest of May. We're both super excited. We have all our planes booked, everywhere that we're staying, some of the transportation in between, which I don't normally plan that far ahead, but Andy's a big proponent of planning that stuff ahead. And as much as that stressed me out, it's relaxing now leading up to the trip to go, cool, all we have to do is figure out what we want to do when we're there. So I'm going to take you on a quick little walkthrough of where we're going. And I don't have the specific addresses of where we're staying and all of that, but a general idea of where we're at. So this is sort of, it's not actually, it's a screen capture, but it's me just videoing or using my phone to record a video of me scrolling around on my computer. Not the best way to do screen capture, but it's how I'm doing it tonight. So let's take a look. All right, so I've got Google Earth pulled up on my computer and the camera trained on the screen. So here's the country of Italy, and where Andy and I are, we're actually flying into Rome. We're gonna take a train from Rome down here all the way up over to Florence. Andy and I have both been to Florence before for a couple of days on a high school trip that we took, or a trip just after high school with our AP European history teacher and other students that had taken that. That was one of the most magical classes I've ever taken and one of the best trips I've ever taken. Mr. Nislanik was the teacher and showed us a really incredible experience. Andy and I both felt that Florence was one of our favorite cities and ones that we would definitely want to return to. So that's where we're starting, and we're going to be there for about a week. Now on this map, I believe we're staying on right in sort of this area. I know this Piazza della Signoria is very close to where we're staying. Maybe we're a little farther over here. This, I think this bridge is the Ponte Vecchio, which is a super famous bridge. We went across it the last time. These are all like shops built into the sides of it. Some are even multiple stories, I think, across the Arno River. There's also, I've looked up a little bit, I know there's a brewery like over here, and then another one, I think up over here, and another one here, and then like a cool tap room over here. So we'll definitely be able to check out some tasty beer while we're over there, and then explore the city. We'll definitely go to the Duomo. There's a place called the Uffizi Museum that I think is also right along the river somewhere, that we just bought tickets for as well. That's one that fills up pretty quick. So I don't actually know that much about it, but Andy's parents have been. He's super excited about it, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. The trips from here, we're planning on doing a hike up to, I don't know exactly where it is, but this is actually sort of like a hillside. Like that's kind of a hummock, and another one over here. And there's a way that you can hike up to both of these and then get a good look out over the city from there, which would be super cool. You can obviously see it's a lot of red roofs. And then out of Florence, there's one day trip that that I in my head tentatively have planned, just because a couple of my customers and regulars have mentioned that visiting Siena would be really cool. I have not actually looked up anything about Siena. They said it's definitely worth a day trip. It looks like it's a very small town. But again, you can see, look at how windy these roads are. Look at how great that is. So we'll probably, I'm guessing a bus, maybe a train, take a day to go cruise up there and hang out, which I'm super excited about. And we may possibly cruise over to the East Coast to San Marino, may hang out there for a day, and then try to get down onto the coast. It looks like there's some nice beaches over here. Right, like that's definitely sandy beach line, which looks like fun. So we're in Florence for a week, and then from there, we are taking a ferry from Livorno. See over here. I think we'll take a bus or a train down to Livorno and then take a ferry over to, oops, that's Corsica. So I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here. Livorno's right about here. We're going to this island, Sardinia. The island just up here is Corsica, which I believe is a French island, but you can see Sardinia is actually really big. Sicily, this is Sicily down here. It's the biggest island that's part of Italy, but Sardinia's got a big hunk of it. So This was one I didn't know that there was an island over here in this part of Italy. And I was looking through a guidebook and it said, see Sardinia for awesome beaches and great seafood. And I was like, hey, Andy, this place looks awesome. So we're actually going to spend a week out here across 2 different places. So our ferry takes us into Olbia, which I think is the second largest city on the island, which is second largest is still like, it's a small town. Take a ferry into there, and then we are actually staying down here in San Teodoro on the east coast. And we're like right along, I think we're over here. We're close to this bay. Yeah, I think we're down in this part of the town. Looks like the downtown area is kind of over here, but the main draw is this big, awesome white sandy beach over here. And so here we're definitely planning on some beach days, just hang out, likely do some snorkeling. I'm taking my snorkel mask and snorkel. Andy might buy one of those new full face snorkels, which I've gotten to use before, and it was awesome. So if he buys one, I'm probably going to be jealous, but I already have a thing that works, so I'll be fine with it. So really excited about that. The pictures for the VRBO that we're staying in for there look awesome. We're definitely planning at least a day trip out to this region. Offhand, I don't remember what's out here. I know the Alghero, there's like a cool castle, I think. We're renting a car while we're staying on the island of Sardinia. We're not renting a car anywhere else where we're staying, but there's not really a train system here, and the buses, it sounded like were relatively sporadic, so we were able to get a car for like 200 euros for 8 days, which I thought was a steal. So anyway, staying in San Teodoro, take some day trips up over here, sort of explore the north end of the island, and then halfway through, then we're going down to Cagliari, down here on the very southern end. And Cagliari is actually the biggest town on the island of Sardinia, and again, has an awesome beach hanging out there that we're both super excited to hang out over there. And I think this place actually has even better snorkeling, and Poeto Beach is, I think, the name of the whole beach. I guess it's actually world renowned. I hadn't necessarily heard about it ahead of time, but I'd never looked at beaches in the Mediterranean before. So obviously a much bigger city than San Teodoro, so there's lots to explore here, which we're super excited about. And then there's along this coast, it looks like this is like a big mountain range that we're definitely looking at checking out. And I don't remember offhand, there's one hike called Gola su Gorupu, which is in a national park, that it's called the Grand Canyon of Europe. It's definitely not as big as Europe, but it's actually appears to be very similar to the Narrows in Zion National Park, where I worked for a summer, 3 months. And I absolutely want to do that hike, so I need to do a little more research on that. But that'll be from when we're staying down here in Cagliari. And then we're hoping maybe get over to this west coast from here, maybe explore more of the southern coast. It's a couple of hours to get sort of across the island. It's a pretty big island. There's not a scale on here, but again, definitely some beach time as well. Just hang out on the beach, read a book. So then from there, we take an overnight ferry from Cagliari to Naples. And if you see, like, here's that distance, Cagliari to Naples, that's an overnight ferry, like 13 hours. The first ferry that we do was Livorno to Olbia. So that's still a big distance, but this one is definitely farther. It's a long ways across this sea. So we'll stay in Naples for 4 or 5 days. And the big reason that Andy and I wanted to go back to Naples is that the last time that we were in Europe, just after high school, both of us, one of our favorite and most memorable experiences was visiting the city of Pompeii, or more accurately, the ruins of Pompeii, that got buried in ash and volcanic stuff after Mount Vesuvius, right here, erupted and destroyed the town and killed everybody that hadn't gotten away. We took a day trip to Pompeii from when we were here. We were staying in Rome at that time. But we both just absolutely loved it. I guess it used to be a coastal town. I haven't looked back at it, but one of our classmates who went on to compete on American Idol and is now her own performing and recording artist with an own band behind her, Haley Johnson. They're in Pompeii. It might be this. Anfiteatro de Pompeii, an ancient actual performance ground. No, I don't think that's it. Anyways, we found the ruins of an old amphitheater that still had the structure and all the stones there that was specifically designed for these epic acoustics. And she sang an a cappella song while we were there. And I don't specifically remember what the song was, but I remember just the emotion of listening to it in that environment and in that atmosphere on this really sunny afternoon in one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Really, really struck me. It was incredible. It was beautiful, and I'm sure I told Haley that at the time, but I don't think I've actually told her that since then. So hopefully we can return there and take a picture, and Andy and I can sing an a cappella something, and then we can tell her that I can tell her how big that was. After that, Naples, we're staying in Naples, and then there's the Amalfi Coast. Amalfi. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I believe so there's Naples, there's Pompeii. I think it's just sort of this whole region, this whole southern region. It's supposed to be really, really beautiful. Lots of cliffs, rocky coastline, not necessarily beaches. Although these look like beaches along there. But I've heard that's really pretty, so we'll check out some of that. I don't actually know that much about Naples itself, so who knows. And then from there, we will cruise back up to Rome. Right, yeah, there it is. To round out our trip. Big highlights for Rome for me are twofold. There's the Colosseum, of course, and then Vatican City, both of which we visited before, and I'm very excited to return to. The Pantheon, I think we looked at it the last time we were there. I don't remember actually going up to visit it. And although I'm even thinking of something else, but yeah, here's Vatican City. Super excited for that. It's one of those beautiful buildings I've ever been in. It's probably the most beautiful building I've ever been in, and it's enormous. So excited to check out that. And I don't actually remember where the Colosseum is. Again, I haven't actually looked up these addresses. There, that's the Colosseum. And we're staying like pretty close to there, which is super cool. I think we're over in this near Basilica di San Clemente, which is pretty exciting. So anyways, Rome is an enormous city, but one of the things I think is super cool about it is so old. The last time I was there, I remember walking along some of the streets that are basically cobblestones and thinking, oh my gosh, this has been here for 3,000 years. A, no wonder it's so dirty, but B, no wonder the stones are so smooth. And then C, the United States, like with the country and the modern state that it is like not even a tenth that age, right? Like what have we built that is going to be here in 3,000 years? I don't think a lot, and certainly not things that are still going to be used every single day. Like those stones have been walked on every single day for 3,000 years, which is crazy to me. Absolutely unbelievable. So there's a real sense of history, I think, in Rome in particular for me that I remember, and I'm looking forward to experiencing that there, but then elsewhere around Italy. So, and then we fly home from there. So that's kind of the outline of the trip that Andy and I have planned. I do have to admit it's more pre-planning for a trip than I have ever done or would typically do, and I was a little hesitant to do all that planning ahead of time. And Andy was very adamant about it, and it's not so bad. I still think that my personality just doesn't lead me to want to do those things right off the bat all the time, but I was trying to go with the flow and see how it was going to turn out, and I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be nice to just go, cool, all of that's already paid for, and we can just show up and have fun and hang out and eat awesome food all the time, drink awesome wine, visit some cool breweries, see the amazing architecture and culture and history. And I've been studying Italian through Duolingo for close to a year now, 20 minutes a day. So I'll be excited to put that to use, or at least to be able to use that to nicely ask people there if they speak English to be able to communicate with us. So that's the outline for the Italy trip. Thanks for checking it out. I'm sure I'll have lots of pictures and videos from while we're over there. Thanks.